Hello everybody and welcome. My name's Ben and I'm part of the team here at Prep for Pre-Reg. So I just want to tell you a little bit about what exactly it is that we offer. Now, Prep for Pre-Reg is an online learning and development tool for pharmacy undergraduates and pre-registration pharmacists. And what I'm going to do in this short video is show you the type of features and content that you can expect from our services. Now, most of you will already be somewhat familiar with our homepage, so instead what I'm going to do is outline our four main features, which you can see on this bar up here. Now, our main focus is helping prepare our subscribers for their examinations, whether that be final year exams, OSCEs, the pre-registration assessment, etc. And for that reason, the majority of our content comes in the form of comprehensive revision notes that cover all aspects of clinical pharmacy and pharmacy practice. Here we are looking at the revision area, and you can see it's broken down into various sections including clinical pharmacy, pharmacy law, the prescribing and dispensing process, a brief outline of pharmacy services, the pre-registration year, which includes information about changes to the GPHC assessment in 2016, and a big section on over-the-counter queries which, as you can see, has notes on all those ailments that you may see and need to treat over the counter. If you need to learn a bit more about chickenpox, for example, click on the appropriate section and it will come up with information about that condition, including things like symptoms, transmission, treatments, self-help tips, when to refer, and any other points that we think may be interesting or relevant to your learning. So now if we go back to the revision page, I'm not going to go through all these sections separately because there's a lot of content there, but just as an example, I'm going to look at the clinical pharmacy section, which perhaps contains the most content out of all the sections on offer. So if we click into this section, you can see that it's divided into various subsections. It's got an area which discusses some of the most significant or common interactions that you need to be aware of, a list of inhibitors and inducers, and a bit of information about pharmacokinetics. But what I'd like to do is look at this section here, which, if we click on it, you can see that the revision notes are separated according to the BNF sections. So if, for example, you want to know a little bit more about inflammatory bowel disease, then you enter the appropriate section, you click here, and it gives you the information that you're looking for. Now in this case, it gives a bit of information about the symptoms of ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, a good bit of information about the drug treatment options available, and any lifestyle advice that you could give to patients suffering from inflammatory bowel disease. Now that's just one example. Obviously there's a lot of content that covers the various sections of the BNF, so if you feel that you need to brush up on any topic in particular, you can come to the revision section and look at the respective notes. So that's the revision section. Next I'll talk about the test area. Firstly, we have the pharmacy practice and clinical pharmacy questions, which is by far our biggest test area. We've included various question formats to make sure that we keep things interesting and challenge your knowledge as best as possible. You can see just a few examples of the type of questions that may appear on one of our practice tests. The questions included on these tests can cover any aspect of clinical pharmacy or pharmacy law to really challenge your knowledge and identify if there's any areas that require further study. Next we have the calculations section, which, as the name suggests, contains all the calculation-based questions. Again, you can see some examples of questions that may appear in this section. Now for both of these types of test, questions are randomly selected from a huge database, which means that every test you do will be different. Your results will come up at the end of each test, which will give you an indication of where you've gone wrong, and obviously will provide you with the correct answers. Your results are stored in a table on your profile page, so you can see how you're progressing and even look back to answers from previous tests. You can see here that any incorrect answers will appear in red, and we provide you with the correct answer and any other information that may be relevant to that particular question. And this is done for all attempted questions. Now, if we go back to the test area, we've also included a variety of practice scenarios which really aim to test the knowledge that you have by applying it to more real-life cases. The scenarios may provide you with a prescription for a patient and ask you to assess whether there are any problems with the prescription, whether that be clinical or legal, as is the case in the scenario that you're looking at now. Now, you aren't scored on this section like you are the other two test sections. Instead, when you've thought about the scenario and are confident you know how you would act, you press the button at the bottom of the scenario, which will reveal what we consider the most important discussion points for that scenario. And you can see whether you agree with any advice or recommendations, etc. Or perhaps you'll be given a photo of a complaint that a patient is suffering from, and you need to firstly identify the condition and then provide advice or treatment recommendations as necessary. Again, clicking on the button below the scenario will bring up some points relevant to that case. So there are various different types of scenario in which you can apply your knowledge. So that's the test section. We also have a news and CPD section, which, as you can see, contains articles that we think you may find interesting or which may be relevant to your learning and development. This feature allows us to keep you up to date with drug developments, changes to pharmacy law, etc. And we would love you to share your thoughts by posting replies to any articles that we put up. And finally, we have these subscriber forums, which we were really keen on implementing to allow our subscribers to talk amongst themselves about any pharmacy-related issues, perhaps to share experiences, ask questions about registration assessment, talk about job prospects, and other things like that. You can see that the forums are broken down into sections according to the stage of your training. For example, here we're looking at the pre-registration forum. We have done this to make the forums easier to navigate, but there's nothing to stop anyone from joining and contributing to whichever forum they want. So that's a rundown of the features and content that we have on offer. If you think that's something you may be interested in, please click on the sign up button on the top right of the homepage, or alternatively click on this button here, which will bring up the Create an Account pop-up. We offer a monthly subscription service for the cost of £9.99 a month, and there's no obligation to stay subscribed for any amount of time. And if you want to just sign up for 2 or 3 months before your exams, for example, then that's absolutely fine. We want it to really be as flexible as possible. So that's about it. Thank you for checking out our site. If you have any questions, please use the Contact Us link at the bottom of our homepage. We hope that you'll be joining us really soon.